Ever notice how some people can cook an amazing meal without measuring a thing or opening a cookbook? That's not luck, it's knowing a formula. In this series, we're breaking down simple cooking formulas every home cook can use. They help you save time, cut down on food waste, and make great meals with whatever's already in your fridge. We've already tackled stews, so be sure to check that out. Today, it's all about the meatball formula, and I'll show you how to make 2 flavorful meatball recipes in just 5 easy steps. Oh, but I need my spoon, thank you. I'm Laura Cook, host of Great Tastes and a home cook. I grew up eating homemade Italian meatballs thanks to my mom and grandma. And today, I'm excited to share a foolproof formula so you can make mouth-watering meatballs at home too. Whether you've got a recipe passed down through generations, or you usually click the first search result you see, once you learn this simple 5-step formula, you'll be the designated meatball maker at every event. So elegant. Not to state the obvious, but the most important ingredient in our Italian meatballs is the ground meat. And the great thing is you can make meatballs out of just about anything. For our classic Italian meatballs today, we're using ground beef. Here in Manitoba, we're lucky to have access to incredible beef, so it really gets to be the star of the dish. Beef is a naturally nutrient-dense, single-ingredient protein that contains a lot of the nutrients that many Canadians need more of in their diets, like zinc, iron, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and more. I usually choose lean ground beef because the lower fat content means the meatballs won't shrink as much while they cook. But medium ground beef works great too, because let's be honest, a little more fat means a little more flavor. Alrighty, so we've got our meat ready. On to step number 2, it's seasoning. A well-seasoned meatball is a great tasting meatball. It's that simple. Seasonings can vary from recipe to recipe, but classic Italian meatballs keep things pretty straightforward. Minced garlic, salt, pepper, and some fresh minced parsley are all you really need. Before we continue, I think it's important that we acknowledge where our food comes from. Thanks to sponsors like Manitoba Beef Producers and Manitoba Turkey Producers, we get to help share the stories behind Manitoba-grown ingredients. Subscribe for more stories direct from Manitoba farms. Every click supports local farmers, ranchers, and fellow home cooks who are looking for dinner time inspiration. Now you're ready for the next important step in no recipe required meatballs, the binder. The binder is whatever you use to help hold everything hold together in that classic meatball shape, while also adding moisture, so you're not left with sad, dry meatballs. In this case, our binder is an egg, along with milk-soaked bread. So we'll just gently mix these with the ground beef and seasonings. You can mix this together with a spoon or a spatula, but I like to really get in there and just feel the meat, make sure that it gets really well incorporated, so I use my hands. This right here is a perfectly delicious meatball base. You could stop here, but this is also where you can have a little fun with some added flavor. Maybe you like some heat, so you add dried chili flakes, or if you want to get really fancy, you could stuff each meatball with a little surprise in the middle, like a block of melty mozzarella cheese. I'm keeping things more traditional today and simply stirring in some Parmesan cheese for extra flavor. I feel like Parmesan's the best addition because it's so salty and it adds really good flavor.
Is there parm in your grandma's meatballs?
There is Parmesan in my grandma's meatballs. That's the one time I usually buy like the pre-shredded little tiny grated granules. It's for that, because that's definitely what she would have used. No hand grating. Once your mixture is well combined, scoop out about a tablespoon for each meatball. Roll it gently between both hands, and then place the meatballs on a foil-lined baking sheet or a plate, depending on how you plan to cook them. They don't need to be perfect either. Everyone will just be very happy to have homemade meatballs, no matter what they look like. Hot tip, roll up your sleeves before you start shaping the meatballs. Otherwise, you are going to be in a compromised position when the meat gets all over your sleeves. You can also add oil to your hands to keep the mixture from sticking to them as you go. I feel like this grosses most people out, but I find it to be like kind of soothing. My grandma was Ukrainian and she married an Italian, and his parents taught her how to cook. From the legend, anyhow. Okay, so now it's the great debate. What is the best way to cook meatballs? In the case of these Italian-style meatballs, Shallow frying in a skillet and then simmering in sauce once the meatballs are browned is the way to go. While it's a little more labor intensive than baking, frying offers a much richer flavor. You also get a nice crust on the outside of the meatball, which adds texture when you bite into them. It's starting to smell like grandma's house. So this isn't a step to cook them all the way through either. They just need to be browned on the outside, and then as they simmer in the sauce, they'll continue to heat up and cook. But this is also where I have to learn to be very patient and let them do their thing. Simmering them in sauce to finish cooking will enhance not only the flavor of the meatballs, but of the sauce as well. The moisture from the sauce leaves your meatballs super tender on the inside. Naturally, Italian meatballs need to be paired up with a plate of spaghetti. You've already got the sauce going, so just boil and salt some water, cook your noodles, and you're all set. Now let's see this formula in action with a completely different set of ingredients. We're making Mediterranean-style meatballs using ground turkey. If ground turkey isn't already a year-round staple in your house, it should be. It's one of the leanest ground meats available. It soaks up the flavor of whatever you pair it with and cooks quickly. I live rurally, so when I see ground turkey at the store, I do grab a few packages to freeze and keep on hand. For the seasoning in this recipe, we're keeping things simple and classic. Fresh basil, salt, and pepper. There is garlic in this recipe, but we're saving it for the end because we're doing something a little outside the box this time. As always, we need a binder to hold everything together, and we're using an egg again, but this time we're switching things up by using panko instead of milk-soaked bread. Panko is lighter and flakier than traditional breadcrumbs, which gives these meatballs a great texture, but regular breadcrumbs do work just fine if that's what you've got on hand. And that's the beauty of this meatball formula. Use what you have. Feel free to experiment with different starches like cracker crumbs, leftover rice, or rolled oats. Just don't forget the egg. Finally, we're adding extra flavor. I've softened some spinach and garlic together in a skillet, let it cool, and now I'm mixing it right into the meatball base. The garlic boosts the flavor and the spinach adds moisture, color, and a little extra nutrition. Sometimes I buy ground turkey breast, sometimes ground turkey thighs. Both will work well for meatballs. I do find ground thighs are a little stickier, and I use a cookie scoop so I don't have to roll them by hand. That said, if you're using ground turkey breast, rolling them by hand works really well too. The cookie scoop is just a little hack that makes things run a little more smoothly, especially when you've got other parts of the meal to take care of and you don't want to keep washing your hands. And yes, even when my daughter asks for help doing something she definitely doesn't need help with, if I'm using a cookie scoop, I still say, sorry, I've got meat hands. I feel like the cookie scoop is a game changer in the kitchen for literally anything. Baking meatballs instead of frying is great when you need to make a large batch, whether it's for meal prep, batch cooking, or serving a crowd. These turkey meatballs are going to bake in a hot 425-degree oven for about 35 minutes. Baking generally gives you a firmer meatball and a more consistent result, but you do have to watch them carefully. Overcooked meatballs can dry out. It smells amazing in here. Both types of meatballs we made today are perfect over a bowl of pasta, but don't think of meatballs as just a pasta topper. They're also fantastic in a hearty soup, tucked into a meatball sandwich, or loaded with your favorite veggies and sauces in a pita or wrap. For an easy weeknight dinner, bake your meatballs on the same sheet pan as some hearty veggies like sweet potato or broccoli, and you've got a complete sheet pan supper in one go. If you want to keep some on hand for later, you can freeze meatballs flat on a baking sheet, then transfer them to an airtight container. That way, you can just grab a few whenever you need a quick, tasty meal. Now I'm gonna dig in. This is the best part of the day. Just meatball, no pasta yet. These are really good meatballs. So elegant. Yeah, those are awesome. Well, there you have it. That's the meatball formula in action. Great meat, simple seasoning, a good binder, and your choice of add-ins. Once you know the formula, you can make endless variations, no recipe required. Of course, if you do love to follow along with the recipe, I won't leave you hanging. You can find the recipes for our traditional Italian meatballs and Mediterranean turkey meatballs in the links below. We would love to hear what your family's go-to meatball recipes are. Let us know in the comments.